Good morning. Today I wanted to take some time to talk to you about ways that you can incorporate choice making and activities for your students to understand that they have some control over their environment. One of the easiest things that we do in the classroom is we use a lot of schedules. So this helps the students know where they're going. If you need some schedules to use at your home, because we can even do hand washing, teeth brushing, what are the routines for the day, getting up and out of bed and getting ready for school, how to make a lunch, whatever the schedules are, we can show you some resources to go and get those done, or your teacher might even have them for what they use in the classroom. So this is one of the easiest things we do. It helps our students know where they're starting all the way down, if you look, to where they're going when it says finished. A nice arrow that helps them see where they're going. One of the other things that we do a lot in the classroom to facilitate communication is we use either pictures or, like I have today, a communication system. Whatever your communication system is, I wanted to show you some opportunities that are often missed to promote communication in the home with your student. So one of the first things we do anytime we start to work is we put our name on that paper. So with my students, using this communication device, and this is just the one that I use, I have lots of choices that I have previously set up. And you can put in here, one of the pages that you might want to set up is, whose name should I put on this paper? And have the pictures. And depending on where your student is, it may only be a picture of them. Or it may be a picture of them and a picture of you or their sibling or the dog. Something to help them make choices, all the way up to scanning whose name goes on this paper. Well, once we know whose name to write, the next thing we have to do is decide, what am I going to write with? So for us, we go to a simple writing implements page. So I want my students to select, what kind of implement do you want to use? Now these happen to be my kids' two favorites. They like to write with markers and they like to write with crayons. The nice thing about these is it automatically makes another decision important. What color? If I had up here a pencil, which is very popular for your upper grades, but for the lower grades where I'm just trying to facilitate communication, I want to build in something that's going to automatically have that next choice, okay? So that's why I've selected a marker and a crayon. Also, really important, we want that student to isolate that index finger and point. If they're doing it way out here, which we see a lot, they're not understanding that this is their voice. Just like I can't just point and move on. I have to say, may I have a marker, please? This is their way of doing that. And by touching the screen, marker, it gives them voice. Oh, you would like a marker. Miss G would like to use a marker today. What color marker would I like to use? And these are marker colors that I happen to have, and I always have this box handy. I know what choices I'm going to give them, so I know I need to have red, blue, green, and yellow. If you know your student's favorite color is not one of these four, this is yours to program. If I don't own a red marker, I'm not going to put red there. I want this to be a choice that the student is successful. This is what we like to call an errorless choice. No matter what I select, it's going to be right. I'm going to get a marker and I'm going to be able to do my work. As your student progresses, you might want to add in here something that's not a color, a block, a sock, a cup. What color marker do you want to write with? Now they have to actually scan and decide, is this a color? And just be careful that if you choose a block, if you choose a red block, the student may be selecting the color red, okay? So now that we have selected the writing, they're able to go ahead and write. But I have lots of opportunities for them. One of my basic things that I do is after we read the story, we answer the comprehension questions. I have pre-programmed what are their selections. And, you know, in our work, there's always 3 choices. And this particular day, the story was about Paige. So there's Cooper, there's Paige, there's a dog. One of the things to be careful when you're doing this with your student is that you're not accidentally cueing what the correct response is. This happens to the best of us as we're going through. Now, I like to set mine up in the same order as the worksheet, so then I can put this right by the worksheet and the student is able to correlate that they're answering what the worksheet is. But a lot of times what we'll do is we'll say, who, I don't remember the story, who was helping the dog? Who was helping the dog? Was Cooper helping? Was Paige helping? Or was the dog helping? Who was helping? And if you notice, there was no inflection. Sometimes what we'll do, who was helping the dog? Was Cooper helping the dog? Was Paige helping the dog? Or was the dog helping the dog? And so I've cued the student in. Oh, I'm listening for that response. So just make sure that you're letting them make that choice. And I have created lots of opportunities for my students between the color, even when we get to the meals, what kind of milk do you want? Do you want strawberry milk, white milk, or chocolate milk? Every day when they go through the lunch line, they have an opportunity to select. I used to, because food is hard for my kids because they really like food, some of them, and the others, food is also either they really like it and so they have a hard time choosing, or it's something that provides negative emotions. I have a couple that just don't like food in general. So this limits that emotional response and it gives them. Now, some of your kids will be able to choose from a multitude, and that is an option that you have. There's basics on here. What do you want? Is it your turn? Are you ready to go? Do you want to stop? Do you want to eat? And students will begin to navigate once they start making significant choices. But if you don't have a communication device, that does not mean that you don't have opportunities for communication in your home. You can do the same thing with the pictures as here. You can also present the items to the student. All right, guys, today we are ready for lunch. Do you want SpaghettiOs or ravioli? And here are the two cans. And they have to make that decision. At dinner time, we need a vegetable. I am making chicken because that's what I have purchased. I'm not making two different meals. We are having chicken. But I have in the pantry an option of corn or green beans. What vegetable would you like, corn or green beans? And having your student make those selections, make those opportunities is going to help them understand, number one, that they have a voice and it's important. But number two, how to communicate without the tantrums and without the frustration. And it's a lot better than having them sit down at the table and not eat or have a tantrum there. This also works really well when it comes to school. If you see, I have a schedule that tells them what to expect and what to do. But if I have a student that I know reading is not their favorite activity, I may back that up, which is why I do, I may set my schedule up ahead of time. You don't really like reading. Math is your favorite. Okay. So here, I may say, you have two different options. I may say, well, we're going to do reading first. Then, if we finish with reading, we're going to get to math. If your student understands that cause and effect, that if-then concept, if you do this, you'll have that. If your student's not there yet, I may hold up both activities. All right, it's time to do work because that's the non-negotiable. It's time to work. We're going to do our work. Would you like to do reading or would you like to do math? And let them make that selection looking at the activity that you've presented for them. That will also cut down. Now, one of the other things I can say is if you need resources, if you need help creating some of these schedules and visuals, reach out to your teacher. Odds are we've already got them created. And if we don't, if it's something unique that you're finding at the home that we really didn't find in school, we can either create them for you and send them to you in an email, or we can show you where the resource is to make it yourself. And if you're using a communication device and you need assistance, reach out to your SLP who helped you get that device. This is my favorite because it is so easy. It's the Accent 1000. But I only have this because I borrowed it from the library. So whatever your student has is going to have the same options. It's a matter of figuring out where it is. The SLP, the speech and language pathologist who helped you determine that that was the best fit for your student, is also the one that's going to be the best to guide you through how to set that up and create the folders. As you saw on mine when I went to, I have preset folders where I know what the options are and I can set them up beforehand so that we're going to have success. But it also allows you to set things up spur of the moment. If you're using individual pictures, which I am fond of for, activities. This was a sensory activity. Was it sticky? Was it soft? And, they're just little papers. It's a one-time thing. You can print these out and I can help you with some resources. But above all, reach out to your teachers. We're here for you. We may be far away, but we're still right here and willing to help. So give us a call. Thanks.